The conversation around Notre Dame football has always carried a weight that few programs in America can understand. A blend of reverence and scrutiny, of heritage and expectation. And as Marcus Freeman stepped to the microphone this week, the posture of a coach who understands exactly what he inherited, but refuses to be intimidated by it, the topic was one that has become almost sacred in South Bend: quarterbacks. Not just who will line up behind center next season, but what the entire philosophy of building the position should be in a sport that has changed more in the last 4 years than it did in the previous 40. It was not a defiant declaration, nor was it nostalgic longing. It was clarity. It was conviction. It was the calm firmness of a man who knows the identity he wants his program to lean on. As Freeman spoke, he didn't frame the question as a referendum on the transfer portal or a criticism of players who choose it. He has lived in the modern landscape. He has benefited from it and suffered from it, and he's fully aware of how important that ecosystem is to roster building. But in the delicate, intricate art of shaping a quarterback room, the nerve center of a football program, Freeman made it clear that he wants Notre Dame's future to come from the same place it always once did: high school recruiting, long-term development, commitment to growth, continuity, trust. And that stance, coming from a coach just 3 years into his head coaching career, says as much about his vision as any scheme, any slogan, any recruiting promise. Notre Dame knows the volatility of the portal better than most. It rode the arm of Riley Leonard, a transfer from Duke, to the doorstep of a national championship appearance. It also endured the unevenness of Sam Hartman, a veteran star from Wake Forest, who brought charisma and production and still couldn't get the Irish past 3 regular season losses during a 2023 campaign that never quite matched its preseason promise. The portal had given Notre Dame brilliance, heartbreak, and everything in between. It had not given them stability. It had not given them the long arc of development that defines a quarterback's relationship to the university, to the fan base, to the locker room. So Notre Dame pivoted. Hard. The 2025 season began with uncertainty, with risk, with youth, with 2 names, C.J. Carr and Kenny Minchey, thrust into a competition that felt both thrilling and terrifying for a program that believes it belongs among the nation's elite. Both were high school recruits. Both were developmental quarterbacks. Both were supposed to embody the future more than the present. And yet, here they were, the present thrust upon them, expected to carry the most iconic gold helmet in college football. The start was brutal, an 0-2 stumble that felt like déjà vu for a fan base allergic to patience. Message boards buzzed, national pundits circled, the noise rising louder and louder. But inside the building, inside the weight room and the film room, inside the quiet corners of the GUG where development actually happens, something else was happening. Carr was growing. Each week, each mistake, each difficult film session with quarterbacks coach Gino Guidagalli, each moment of pressure that squeezed him but didn't crush him, he took all of it in. By midseason, the transformation was undeniable. Carr, the once raw redshirt freshman, became a finalist for the Manning Award, standing shoulder to shoulder with the nation's best quarterbacks. His confidence sharpened, his voice deepened. His eyes found windows that only real quarterbacks find. And Notre Dame suddenly had not just a starter, but a leader, an anchor, a building block with eligibility that stretches all the way to 2028. For a program hungry for stability, it felt like oxygen. Freeman acknowledged the evolution with both honesty and pride. He didn't hide from the fact that using the portal had been a necessity during his first 2 seasons. He didn't pretend the Irish could have survived those early years without veteran help. But he made it clear that the true, long-term heartbeat of Notre Dame football needed to come from within. "My vision has always been to have a high school quarterback be the future of Notre Dame football," Freeman said, his tone steady, deliberate. "I know in my first 2 years, I had to make decisions that led us to the transfer portal. But when Riley Leonard was our quarterback 2 years ago, I knew the future was already here. I believed one of those 3 young guys, CJ, Kenny, or Tyler, was going to be the future of our program." The message was not subtle. It was not wrapped in coach speak. Freeman believes in the long game. and Notre Dame is now invested in it. Behind Carr and Minchie, the present, and Blake Hebert, Tyler Buckner, and Anthony Rizak, the depth, lies the pipeline that truly represents Freeman's philosophy. Noah Grubbs, the 2026 signee, stands as the clearest model of what the Irish want. A four-star high school recruit, 6'4", 205 pounds, polished, poised, and driven in ways that resonate with Notre Dame's culture. Ranked number 377 nationally and number 27 among quarterbacks, Grubbs represents not just talent, but commitment. He pledged early, stayed loyal, and actively sought out ways to improve even after he'd already secured his place. Freeman smiled as he recalled watching Grubbs throw during a summer visit, long after the paperwork and promises were already in place. He came up here in the summer, after he was committed, and I was watching him throw like he was trying to earn a spot. He didn't have to do that, but he did, and that tells you everything, Freeman said. The Irish also have a commitment from 2027 standout Teddy Gerard, a four-star prospect ranked number 10 nationally among quarterbacks, a kid with the arm talent and instincts that make recruiting departments salivate. Gerard watched Notre Dame's development of Carr closely. He saw the plan. He saw the stability. He saw opportunity without shortcuts. And he bought in. Perhaps that is the greatest shift of all. The portal era has conditioned recruits and fans to expect instant gratification, instant mobility, instant certainty. But Notre Dame's quarterback blueprint now asks for patience, for investment, for the belief that development matters just as much as raw talent. It is a gamble. It is a philosophical stand. It is, in today's college football, almost countercultural. But for Marcus Freeman, it is non-negotiable. And it is not a coincidence that players feel the same gravity. Because to understand this shift, you have to understand the man making it. Freeman has long believed that stability comes from relationships, not transactions. The quarterback, more than any position on the field, needs roots. He needs years, plural, to grow into leadership, into ownership, into the responsibility that comes with carrying Notre Dame football on his shoulders. The portal can give you brilliance, but it cannot always give you belonging. And belonging is the currency Freeman values most. As the national conversation continues swirling, Notre Dame's fall in the college football playoff rankings, award season with 3 Notre Dame players earning finalist nods, the program signing 4 recruits with NFL lineage, it all circles back to the same foundational truth. Freeman is building something, deliberately, methodically, relentlessly. And quarterback recruiting is the clearest window into how he sees the future. A future not defined by panic moves, but by patience. Not defined by Band-Aid solutions, but by belief. Not defined by who they borrow, but who they build. And maybe that's why when Freeman spoke about Carr, about Minchie, about Grubbs, about Gerard, there was a quiet excitement in his voice. Not hype, not theatrics, but conviction. Because he isn't just collecting players. He's crafting a lineage. He's stacking generations of quarterbacks who won't stay 1 year, but 4. Who won't learn the playbook overnight, but absorb it into their bloodstream. Who won't just play for Notre Dame, but grow up inside it. And somewhere deep in the DNA of Irish football history, that feels right. Because Notre Dame has never been about shortcuts. Not the campus. Not the academic standards, not the golden helmets, not the lineage of quarterbacks whose names echo through the decades, and certainly not the man now choosing to build the future with intention rather than impulse. As Freeman left the podium, the air in the room held that familiar mixture of hope and expectation, of scrutiny and belief. Notre Dame is a place that demands much and forgives little, but it also understands something essential. Great quarterbacks aren't found, they're forged. And Marcus Freeman, calm, confident, unwavering, plans to forge them the old-fashioned way.